we think we don't deserve to be happy. And this is what we mean by creating our hell. And if that happens to you when you die, with that guilt, with that lack of forgiveness, with that lack of saying, I'm a human being, let it go, then of course, if that's what's occupying your mind when you die, you don't deserve to be happy, so of course you won't allow yourself to be happy. You will create a hell for yourself. That's why one of the greatest insights which I got from Buddhism was this beautiful forgiveness. And this is not superstition. You don't have to ask anyone else to forgive you. In fact, if you ask someone else to forgive you, it doesn't work. Even if you ask a Jesus to forgive you, or a Buddha to forgive you, what right has that person got to forgive you? All they can do, or even a monk can do, is actually to encourage you to forgive yourself. That's the only person who can let go of the past. Yourself. And it's a beautiful thing to be able to see this in action. When somebody has done something in the past, and we've all done silly, stupid things in the past. This silly stuff, I think I gave this simile over in Singapore about me selling encyclopedias. Was that here or was that in Singapore? Anyone remember that one here, recent weeks? I give so many talks. I don't know where I've given the last talk. Tomorrow I'm going to Malaysia early in the morning to give a talk in Malaysia. So I give so many talks, I don't know which story I've told where. So this was the story of when I was a young student, in order to try and pay my way, through the university system, just actually to pay my bills. The university fees were all paid for. I got all these stupid jobs, and one of them was selling encyclopedias door to door. The worst possible job you can ever have, but I was desperate. And the worst thing about that job, it was like children's encyclopedias. The worst possible thing about that job was that I sold one. And as soon as I sold one, I felt so guilty. Because it was all lies. You're learning how to make these parents feel just as if they were next to paedophiles if they didn't actually get this book for their children. They were abusing their children's future. They didn't love them if they didn't get this incredible asset to their future education. And of course, after a while you got good at sort of that type of lying stuff. And eventually I sold this children's computer to this young family. And they were just starting out in life, and they had their first child. And they were just really, really soft and caring. And they said, oh yeah, perhaps we should get this wonderful child. And so I got my first commission. But I had sleepless nights over that. I thought, I sold this stupid encyclopedia to these poor people. Who knows, they probably won't be able to afford it. They may not be able to have their lunch or pay their mortgage. Oh, what have I done? I felt terrible about that. I felt guilty. And you know how I actually let go of that guilt when I was a monk. But you know how I fully let go of that guilt? Was when I told a story here about 15 years ago. And after telling the story, afterwards, when people come up to talk to me, so someone came up to me and he said, that was an amazing story you just said. It's too much of a coincidence, but who knows. But when I was growing up in England, this young student came to our house and they sold my parents his children's encyclopedia. And I loved that encyclopedia. Oh, those are my favourite books. That created so much happiness for me. When I realised that, it was probably unlikely it was the same person, but who knows, that I thought I'd done some terrible, terrible, terrible deed. And she told me that it may have been a wonderful thing which happened. So sometimes, whenever we've done something, we don't know the full consequences, how it worked out in the future. What would have happened if we'd taken the other choice? We can't know that. Sometimes what you did probably was the best. So why do we feel guilty about that? Superstition. That's why we feel guilty. We've been taught that guilt is a proper response. These days, and here I teach a lot, we've got a car sticker for it, AFL code. If you don't know what the AFL code is, go and get the sticker from the library. Acknowledge, forgive, learn. So acknowledge what you've done. I'm not saying say it's a bad thing or a good thing. Acknowledge it. This is the act which I've done. Now forgive it means, you're a human being, we all do things. Sometimes we make mistakes, sometimes we do wonderful things. So you're just like anybody else in this world. So you forgive it. And then you learn from it. Make sure you don't get into that situation again. And that's all you need to do. And if you do things like that, any psychologist knows, in your own experience, it's called growth in spirituality. It actually works. It means you can let go of the pain of the past and you're not stopping yourself being happy. You are free to enjoy your life and to be a better person in this world. People who carry around the past out of superstition, think you have to, and carry around their guilt, they create a lot of pain for themselves, and even worse, a lot of trouble for others. They can't form relationships. Sometimes they have great psychological problems. They get into drink and drugs simply because they